like, that's so fucked up. Like, it's seriously fucked up. Like, they've made so many shitty comments. Molly May hasn't been cancelled for what she fucking said.
But, let's talk about that now. Okay, let's talk about Molly May and what she said, yeah. I feel like people are just like, okay, I have two arguments to this. Argument one, why the f*** should I care?
What about what she has to say?
Yeah, why the f*** should I care? Like, she's not... What is she doing that means that I should validate her opinion in that subject? So for me to get angry about what she's saying being silly or stupid or whatever, doesn't matter. Like, it's not that deep. She has no impact. What she said has...
What do you mean she has no impact? Her following
what she
is
says
huge.
has very little impact apart from the reaction.
I think to your life, but in general, like, she can sway a lot of kids' mentalities. Like, the world has done a lot to try and get a younger generation to be more opening and to be more open. And for her to have, like, such a big following, and she's the creative director of whatever shitty little company, Pretty Little Thing. You know, like that. She's got a lot of leeway. Like, I can imagine a ton of little white girls right now being like, "Oh, we all have the same 24 hours in a day."
But if we look at what she said, like, just take the words that she said, yeah, there's nothing wrong with those words. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't say. It doesn't. It's just like we all have the same 24 hours in the day. We should all work hard. We have to make the most of it. I feel like what people did was take the worst interpretation they could find from it as well. Like, they were like, yes, because motivational quotes, motivational, like, books, shows, speakers, they say the same shit. Okay. They say the same shit. There's the same 24 hours in a day.
Okay.
And no one hates on them. In a way, it might even be a little bit of sexism, because I feel like if she was a male, people wouldn't have the same reaction if she said that.
Maybe. My issue with the comment is that if you're being interviewed about how you gained your success and how you got to where you are, and you're not recognizing the privilege that you are given, then there is an issue. If you want to say that you worked hard and that's all you did and you had the same 24 hours as someone else, that is not correct. Like, in reality, the reason why you are where you are is because of certain social factors, and you need to appreciate that, because when people are listening to that video for advice. I was listening because, I listened because of what I saw on the internet, but people are going to click on it because it's like, oh, Molly May, an entrepreneur, I want to know how she did it. I want to know. You saying that you worked that hard 24 hours. No, you had certain opportunities. You built up your following on Instagram. You joined a show that you knew would give you even more of a following and give you straight exposure, and that started your success. So how come she barely spoke about Love Island when really hardly anyone knew about her before that show? And now everyone does.
But I thought she was a famous influence already.
She did. She had a following.
And bare people on Love Island don't make it.
Did you know who she was before Love Island?
I didn't know.
So now you do. So if my main issue with that comment is that, with the interview in general, is that it really sounded like she was saying, I've worked so hard, and I'm sure you have, babe. I'm not saying you haven't, but that when people are asking you how have you gotten to where you are, you need to explain, because a black person's story is not the same as yours. Do you know what I mean? No black person can be like, oh, yeah, 24 hours a day. No, part of the conversation is going to be how you overcame certain problems and, people spoke to you wrong or whatever. I want to hear about what hurdles was easy for you to jump. Do you know what I mean? I need to know what hurdles there were in front of you. If you went into a casting, for example, why didn't she talk about the Love Island interview process, audition process? I would have loved to have known, how that went for her. Because, maybe some girls are interested in going on Love Island. She wanted to pretend, fuck Love Island. With or without Love Island, I would have been as successful as I am. It's not true. It's just not. So, let's get some honesty here. And also, as a creative director of Pretty Little Thing, how did you get that role? Would you have gotten that role if you weren't on Love Island? Let's just be realistic about it. Working 24 hours a day, we have the same... So the 24 hours you were spending in Love Island, was that you working hard? You sitting there, chilling? I'm sure it was, there was some element of you have to stay on for camera presence and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, that's not the same 24 hours as other people get.
But no one has the same 24 hours though. I feel like it's still taking it to the worst possible interpretation, because like everyone has the same 24 hours, but we're all in different positions in life, innit? But we still have to make the most of whatever we're at, kind of thing. I feel.
But that's not what she said.
What she said, we have the same 24 hours in a day.
Yeah, but she didn't say no matter what your starting point, we all need to work hard.
But
That's not what she said.
I feel like we live in a world now where you kind of always have to explain the obvious kind of thing. Like you have to.
I don't think that's obvious. Like, no, it is obvious, but she didn't like. I'm sorry, but you have a duty to mention that. Like, you can't say that statement. We all have the same 24 hours. So we're going to
apply that principle to everyone. Every time someone slightly makes a mistake in what they say, or they miss a certain wording or whatever, that we're all going to jump on them and tell them. Because that's what we do. I don't see how this helps anything.
But that's why we say that.
It's a bit pointless.
That's why we say white people can't say the N-word. Do you know what I mean? Like, people should be conscious of what they say, and people should care about what the fuck's coming out of their mouths. Like, you can't just go around and say...
we have to acknowledge that these people are humans too, like, and they're gonna make mistakes. And I feel like we made the mountain out of a molehill, is the saying, with this whole Molly May thing. I'm just like, why the fuck is it?
At the beginning of that interview, she said, "Oh, I've said this before and I've been slated for it." Ask yourself, why have you been slated? It wasn't a first time thing. Like, she's clearly has this point of view and has held it. Like, she believes that. If you want to keep saying, like, okay, cool, but how come, okay, you can say we all have the same 24 hours in a day. Are you the type of person that is going to go and make someone else's 24 hours better? No, clearly not, because you... Oh, what a perfect example. You are a creative director of one of the biggest companies that supports slave labor. Like, how can you say we all have the same 24 hours in a day when you get to sit in a nice cushy office in a nice flat in wherever the fuck you live, Manchester or whatever the fuck, when people are out there in Asia or wherever and working their asses off for 24 hours and can barely even pay for food? Like, if you say that we all have the same 24 hours in a day, like, bro, you're like, that's so fucked up. Like, it's seriously fucked up.
I really don't see how people got. I just don't think it's as deep as people making that out to be. So fucked up. I feel like I feel like there's sexism involved. I feel like we don't hold everyone to the same standards, because there's many people who have made it who say work hard, yeah, and they've had bare advantages. And we don't complain when they say, oh, work hard. Oh, you had this and this advantage. You had. I feel like we're not really being fair, and I also feel like it's also pointless. And it's just, I don't know, it's a waste of energy.
So, any successful, smart person who is really trying to help you will tell you that work smart, not hard, yeah? So when you say this phrase, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, you're equating success to time. So you're saying that if I work this amount of time, because we all have the same 24 hours, so we can all get the same amount of stuff done, right? In the same amount of time. But that's not
what she said, though.
Yeah, I know. But if you're saying that you have the same 24 hours as someone else, are you not saying that you can get the same amount of stuff done, or you can, that you can achieve?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying we both have the same amount of time. So work hard, make the most of that time.
So we can work equally as hard.
But that's not what she said.
If you're saying we have the same amount of hours in the day, what are you implying? What are you implying?
That we have the same 24 hours in the day.
No, what are you implying?
Yeah, that we have the same amount of time.
So
we should work hard.
Yeah.
I don't see what's wrong with that. I feel like people took the worst interpretation of that. Like, they took, but
bro, it was
hard like me.
It was a podcast about how to succeed. Yeah. So if you're telling me,
so she's there to be motivational.
Of the reasons, if you're telling me that one of the reasons as to why you succeeded is that we all have the same 24 hours and you are not limited because you have the same 24 hours as someone else, i.e. Beyonce, then you should be able to achieve what she achieved in her 24 hours, is what she implied, 100%. There is no doubt about that. Like, that's what maybe she didn't realise she's saying that, but that's why I'm saying people have to be careful about what they say.
Because
It was ridiculous. Like, it was actually a joke.
It has the same 24 hours in a day that we do. And I just think, like, it's literally, you're given one life and it's down to you what you do with it. Like, you can literally go in any direction. And when I've spoken about that before in the past, I have been slammed a little bit with people saying, you know, like, it's easy for you to say that, you know, you've grown up and you've not grown up in poverty. You've not grown up, you know, with major money struggles. So for you to sit there and say that we all have the same 24 hours in a day is not correct. And I'm like, but technically what I'm saying is correct. We do. So I understand that obviously we all have different backgrounds and we're all raised in different ways and we do have different financial situations. But I think if you want something enough, you can achieve it. And it just depends to what lengths you want to go to get where you want to be in the future. And I'll go to any lengths. Like I've worked my absolute arse off to get where I am now. A lot of people don't think that and believe that, but it's true. I've worked so hard.
You owe your success to Love Island. Like,
but I don't agree with that though.
Okay,
how many people have been on Love Island that you don't know their names? Bare of them. Like, Love Island isn't a guaranteed
but
success.
you're asking the wrong person. The reason I barely know anyone's names, like in pop
you
culture.
don't watch it that much.
I watch Love Island, but I don't remember anyone's names. Like, I only know Molly May because, like, I know like a handful of people.
Because she made the most of that pop. She was smart with it as she worked hard.
Yeah, off the back of Love Island though. So how come it wasn't mentioned? It was barely mentioned in the video.
But she was doing well before Love Island, and Love Island helped her. But she had to make the most of that.
So I wanted to correct what I said.
She's just magically lucky.
I wanted to correct what I said. Like, so no, she's not that she owes her success to that, but she owes her rapid success to that because it would have been a lot slower and a lot longer if it wasn't for Love Island.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
But still, she still had to work hard to make the most of that. But I feel like, again, going the worst possible interpretation that I did.
Yeah, this guy's being crazy.
He went straight to, what about the homeless? Like, we could play that game endlessly. Like, no one could say... Like, if you go, I worked hard kind of thing, someone else could be like, well, you had two parents, or you're living in the UK, not in the slums of India or something like that. Like, that's a endless game you could play as well. Like, she had advantages, but she still worked hard, made the most of it. There's people that have more than her that don't get to her level.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that, okay, so if it was someone from India who made that point, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, it is fair. You do not have the same 24 hours in a day as other people. Like, you are in the top 10% of the world's population of privilege.
You don't have the same you don't have the same, like,
she has an obligation to comment on the privilege that she has, like, full stop. Like, there's no, like, for example, if people are going to talk about,
do that then, or the celebrities?
you need to check your privilege. Like, is that not standard 2021?
Hi, I'm Real Swift. I have to check that I'm a millionaire. But like,
was he brought up as one? Was he brought?
No,
born
but
as
he
one?
must have had advantages other people didn't have to reach his level.
100%.
Like the good looks, the height.
Yeah. So when I talk about my journey in the professional world, do I not talk about using my sexuality to get through certain doors and stuff like that? Yes, 100%. That is a tool that women need to learn how to use for their benefit.
If people are upset that she's had advantages and therefore she can't make that statement without saying she's had advantages, then we need to be consistent here. Then I want to see every man go, like, whenever rapper's like, oh, I had to, then he'll be like, oh, but I was fortunate to live in the UK.
No, you can't, like, okay, come on, it's about, like, subjectivity. What the reason why that created so much turmoil is because the whole interview, she didn't say nothing about it. She literally made it seem like, I've worked my ass off, da 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 da. It's like, yes, I'm sure you have, but how about let's talk about, like, how you got your foot through certain doors and stuff like that. It was very subject matter.
But
like,
for me, that would be the interview's responsibility.
And you could see that the interviewer, you know, she at the beginning of the interview, he was like, Molly never does interviews like this. She will never say yes to doing this. Yeah. So why do you think that is? Because you've got secrets to hide, B, or you don't want to give out your secrets. You don't want to tell people about the journey that you had. Like, and what did you just say? That it's not that she, you literally just said something. I was like, it's not that she has to
say it.
You said, yeah, it's not that.
What about acknowledging the advantages they had, or?
Yeah. Nah, I've lost it, bro. But anyways, Molly, man, you fucked up.
Molly May, just choose your wording better because people are sensitive nowadays.
No, okay.
But so, for me, it just wasn't that deep, unfortunately.
Bro, it's deep, man. Like, you've got, okay, how, as big of a following as she's got, she needs to know how to, if you're going to go onto an interview about how you gained your success, how many people have listened to that? Like, she needs to, you can say that comment, but you also need to, if you're going to say something like that, you need to check your privilege as well. Do you know what I mean? You can't just do a whole interview talking about, oh yeah, you know, like, you just got to grind, man. No, that's not, we wanted to hear something else.
Yeah, I just don't feel, but okay, I guess that's the standard we have to hold everyone, because we have to be consistent. And I just...
But it's not, no, you're taking it as if like, I have to make sure that my privilege is known at any point, at every and any point. Yeah. It's not about you constantly have to say oh yeah, like, oh, this happened to me, but I'm happy that I was brought up here and da-da-da. It's not that you have to constantly justify yourself. It's the fact that like, she has literally gone onto an interview about your success and you have not checked your privilege. Like, that is crazy. That is really bad. Like, you know, there's...
But who's it bad for?
For her audience.
How's it bad for them?
People think that, like, what? Okay, cool, okay. So, a little black girl is going to hear that. She's going to be like, okay, cool. All I need to do is work really hard 24 hours a day and shit will happen for me. She doesn't get a job. And she goes home, oh, mommy, I didn't get the job, whatever. Keeps happening to her. Why? Like, this is an exaggerated point, but as in, like, you know...
So I'm just trying to figure out how Molly May, like, had a negative impact. Like, if... I don't know. So say that, like, maybe
imagine if no one ever spoke about your privilege or, like, how your privilege affects your career.
Yeah, if no one ever spoke about it, but
she has a big responsibility to do that. If you're coming onto a podcast, if you're coming onto an interview to discuss how you succeeded in your career, and you've got that big of a following, you need to discuss the fact. Like, I'm sorry, but she went on one of the most viewed, one of the most watched TV shows in the world, and you don't want to talk about, like, your experience or black women's experience on there. She's not culturally, like, I'm sorry, but the only people that I follow and the only people that I value your opinion of is if you're culturally aware and if you're, you know, society.
But that's one of my biggest points is that, like, we only take those people's opinions. Why we taking her opinion on that? So, like, we have this weird contradiction in our society nowadays where we're like, they have a responsibility to speak up. And then we also, when they say something wrong, we're like, oh, like, who are you to say that? Do you know what I mean? Who are you to give that opinion? It's like we're saying that their opinion matters, and we're also saying they shouldn't have an opinion, kind of thing.
No, if they've got the wrong opinion.
But then we're not getting them to speak freely. We're not getting them to say what they actually believe. We're getting them to say what
she said what she believed. She said
and
what she believed.
And that's the problem.
Yeah,
and people had
you
the
said
problem.
what you believed. You deserve to be cancelled. Hold that.
But that's dangerous, though.
What do you mean?
Because that's against free speech to say that. Oh, no! you can't say your opinion because you might say something wrong.
Say your opinion,
and then at the same time, we're like, you
cancelled.
have a duty to say your opinion. It's like a weird contradiction.
When we started this podcast, did we not say we're prepared to be cancelled? Yo, you better hold that. You've decided to put yourself. But that's what I'm saying.
Oh, why are we wasting our time cancelling her saying this when there's other shit?
Fucked me off.
We could put our energy on. Like,
she fucked me off, so I'm gonna put my energy into her.
I know. I like to think strategically, and if I have an objective, I won't waste resources like time, energy on things that don't help me get to that objective.
That's what she should have said in her interview, not some. We all have the same time.
But I feel like
conserve
focusing
your time
on her
and energy.
Don't matter. I wasn't even talking about her still, but for me, my thing is that
who brought it up? This one.
I did. I'm just like, let's stop wasting our time on people that we don't see. We're not looking for them to be the voices of our, like, let's say Black Lives Matter.
She does have that voice.
I don't want her to speak on that subject, or like, I don't want.
But wouldn't you prefer for her to be woke?
I want her to be able to speak, but I don't want to take her opinion as like, oh yeah, I'm gonna
But some people do. That's what the worry is I'm thinking about the kids.
And when we go crazy and we say that we're showing, this person's opinion is valid, this person's opinion is important, and it's like, not like, how can I say, celebrities' opinions and thoughts shouldn't be valued as highly as we do. Because a lot of them are fake. A lot of them is presenting this. But that's
a separate issue we're talking about now.
But I'm saying that's why we can't look at them and go, I'm going to look to what Molly May says to.
I feel like.
To direct how I feel about myself.
I feel like if you had a child, you would think very differently.
But I'll teach my child, like, don't listen to Molly May.
Yeah, this is where we agree, is that you shouldn't be listening to these dickheads.
Yeah, so that's why we get upset when someone we think was stupid says something stupid. Like, okay, that's what they would say.
But then, if an entrepreneur like herself goes onto an interview that is about entrepreneurialism and entrepreneurship and how you succeed, she is she's a perfect candidate for that kind of interview. So when you come on there, I want you to talk facts. Why are you talking worse? Bro, that's my issue. It's like, okay, we can say that maybe she shouldn't be the poster child for Black Lives Matter, but you should be able to talk about entrepreneurship in an educated way. But no, you didn't.
Because, like, maybe
because
she can't articulate.
Like, that's it. I'm joking. No, I'm joking. Sorry. You're not an idiot.
But maybe she can't articulate how she succeeded. Because there's one thing doing, one thing teaching. But I don't know. I see it a little bit futile. I can't even say the word. Futile.
This is my face on Molly Me. I don't know.
Let me see. But I was gonna see. Let's quickly see what happens.
Now, if you don't know, Molly May is an Instagram influencer with over 6 million followers, and she said some pretty controversial things out there. Considering she's had a lot of following and a lot of support from her younger audience, you'd think she'd watch what she's been saying, but that's not exactly the case. Although Molly May has over 6 million followers, a lot of those followers have not been on her side recently. She's come out on a podcast called Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett, talking about how she believes everyone has the same 24 hours a day. And if you really, really want something, you simply just have to work hard and get it. There's not many excuses about them.
But how many motivational videos, speech have you seen say things similar? Like, you want something, go get it.
Are they correct?
Yes, they are correct.
No, they're not.
What's the other way of thinking about it? If I was to look,
be smart. You know, people are gonna keep being. Have you watched the what's the guy's name? I don't remember the guy who it's actually about, but the Allen Iverson, some basketball player. He's got a big throw. There's a it's a documentary / like film documentary on Netflix. Colin something. I'll find it. Basically, it follows his story from when he was a kid and like how he wasn't aware of like the subtle racism that was stopping him like throughout his journey, and eventually like he realized it. If you're not aware of what's being done to you, like you can't overcome it. Like it. Yes, as we said, Molly May shouldn't be the one to speak about like, you know, racial issues and stuff like that. But we hope that you would be able to give us some fucking knowledge about like the business world and stuff like that, or at least like, I'm not asking you to talk about disparities between, you know, like racial, sexual, you know, equality, but what I do want you to talk about is your trials and tribulations and actually an honest encounter of what you had to suffer to get to where you are. Because what you said, you just have to work hard and we all have the same 24 hours in a day, is not true. Like, that is just not factual.
But it is factual at the same time.
It's not factual. If you want to say, yes, we all have 24 hours in our day. Yes, Toby. I agree. We agree that's 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
Our 24 hours are not the same. Yeah? We have different things that we have to do within our day. Each person has their own priorities.
But
depending
that's the
on
thing. We all have the same 24 hours a day. Work hard to mean, like, you have the same 24 hours. My day is exactly your day is exactly like mine, and you could have the same day as me if only you were. We literally added words in between the gaps there.
So we all have the same 24 hours in a day. So work hard and you will achieve your goals. Yeah, that's basically what she said.
But shall I be offended now? Oh,
wait.
But what about people with one leg?
Someone works 20 hours a day, yeah, as a janitor, works 365 days a year, never takes a break, yeah. One person works in a supermarket, works 5 days a week, works 18 hours a day. I don't know, I'm making up these figures. Mm-hmm. The person in the store, in the supermarket, gets a promotion to store manager, then goes into head office, does marketing, something like that. Mm-hmm. Janitor has no I don't know, I never know how to say this word. Like you have no flexibility. There's no moving up and down. There's no, going up in the business or anything like that, yeah? Mm-hmm. So, within that, you could have, you don't need qualifications to work in either. But what I would hope, some kind of information that Molly could have given, is that go to a job that has some kind of flexibility where you can move up and down. Don't go to a job that is a dead end and there is no promotion available to you because you will never move anywhere. Something like that would have been beneficial. Do you know what I mean?
So what you're upset about is more that she didn't give something of value in like education wise about like
because no wait, yes, 100%, but the reason why you are where you are now is not because you worked for 24 hours a day, like because you're 24. It's not because you worked hard. It's because you played the game well. You figured out the tricks and the tricks of the trades. Yeah, you figured it out.
But isn't that work though? It's still hard work?
Bro, that is hard work, but that is not telling people to work hard is not what's going to make them succeed. Giving them some insight into the business, teaching people how to negotiate, teaching people what kind of job roles are good for, for promotions and stuff like that. That is teaching people just even
But a lot of motivational things don't teach you like practical shit. Like that kind of just give you like quotes to motivate you.
Don't compare shit with shit. It's going to be shit.
But that's what I'm saying. Like all of these have been around for time. Why are we why are we listening to her for that kind of thing? I don't even know why
because
that guy
she's the CEO.
invited.
She's a successful businesswoman.
Like,
she knows.
No offense to her,
Babe,
but we know it wasn't because she's had years of experience and she's like.
She has. This is what I'm saying. Is she knows. She knows what would have been beneficial to say.
So why am I listening to her anyway? Because I know it's not going to be of benefit of me to listen. Shouldn't be. So why the would I hear what she says? Like,
but people do because you're kids. That's what I'm saying. I care about the dumb people out here.
The dumb people, stop being dumb.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I get the argument for the kids. I get the kids thing. Yeah. Like, okay, kids might interpret in this way. What I don't know, but if I was a kid, I that wouldn't be something negative for me to hear as a kid. That I have the same 24 hours in a day. Like, yeah, okay, that's gonna make me go, I have to work hard to be where I want to be, kind of thing. Like the little girl, let's say little Sarah sees that, and Molly May's like, you could be like me. Well, she didn't say that, but you could be like me if you work hard. It's going to make her want to work hard, and that's not going to have a bad impact for her.
Work hard at what? The only information that we're getting from her right now is work hard, and we've seen you go on Love Island, so every kid is going to work hard to be accepted onto Love Island. That's where we're going right now.
Yeah, but that's also...
I can't.
It's fine. Anyway.
It's stressing me out now.
Yeah, I don't think it's that deep, but